Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Spyro the Dragon Part 12. So this next level is going to be one of the most challenging levels in the game, so the most infamous levels in this game. It's the reason why I never got this game 100% complete for the longest time. It's really a work of art to master and manipulate all the different ramps. You get all the different charge ramps that you get, whatever you call them. They could charge really fast, supercharge power-ups. And this is in tree tops. You probably guess the level suggests we're doing this on the tops of trees. They're essentially like a bunch of tree houses, like a tree forts. It sounds like something Bart Simpson would probably build, like a tree house. And again, who doesn't have a tree house in their backyard? What channel is that on? Tree House? Yes, apparently is. Like a tree house. It has the build quality of a tree house show, that's for sure. And there's like all these monkeys around. I think it's the first. I'm not sure if you've seen these monkeys yet in this game, but yeah, we're seeing all these monkey enemies. I'm not sure if we see these monkey enemies again. Since when did Spyro deal with monkeys? Well, he actually does deal with monkeys on a few other occasions. Monkeys actually are pretty common in the Spyro series, but of course they're usually antagonists to Spyro, or in some cases they could be a hero, but for the most part, monkeys are usually antagonists in the Spyro games. Did these Insomniac developers have anything against monkeys? That I don't know. Maybe they did have something against monkeys all along. And they're putting their anti-monkey propaganda in these games. Maybe they fear they're going to take over the world eventually, like in that movie I want to watch later today, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That was my first experience of Planet of the Apes, as the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I actually saw it first before I saw the very original, and it actually kind of changed the way I saw the original movie a bit. It actually didn't really make me feel sympathetic at all for the humans in that movie. This made me feel like, they're humans, they're bad guys, they got what they deserve, and they're continuing to get what they deserve from watching Rise of the Planet of the Apes. There was a similar story to that guy that watched Rogue One before watching the original Star Wars movie, and it was two movies that build up towards the Death Star getting destroyed. So when the Death Star got destroyed at the end of the original Star Wars movie, it felt a lot more satisfying after watching Rogue One. So one person said, I don't know if that's true for everyone. Some people disagree. Some people hated Rogue One. I like Rogue One, and I like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I actually kind of like prequel movies a lot of the time. They actually do add a lot of lore and story building and world building to their franchises. I often think Spyro should have had some prequels. Imagine that, a prequel to Spyro. What would that be like? It may not even star Spyro at all. It might star like maybe one of those adult dragons when he was a kid had to go through a similar predicament to this. I'm pretty sure one of the dragons we rescued even said, like, oh, when I was your age, I did the exact same stuff. I don't know, maybe there could be a game about that dragon. It could have its own spin-off game, and it could be like, I don't know, if it would be like an indie project or something like that. But I could imagine that game actually being made like a prequel to Spyro the Dragon. Game prequels could sound interesting too. I don't really know of an awful lot of game prequels, at least none that I know. The only video game prequels that I know of is Spear of Destiny, Wolfenstein 3D, The Spear of Destiny. That was supposedly a prequel. And then there was also, I don't really know an awful lot about game prequels. People usually focus on sequels because video games are not as story-oriented. I was telling my mom the other day about how the Ratchet and Clank sequels are way better than the original. And she's like, well, I guess video game sequels are not plagued with being, not as good as the originals, and like movies are. Yeah, for movies, it's all about the story, and usually they get the story done the first time around, so that's why movie sequels aren't usually as good as their originals. That's not true of video games. Even then, people improve over time. People write their scripts or write their like movie storylines, and over time they get better and better. Like I've compared my recent writings and more recent like stuff I've written the last few years or so to stuff I've written several years ago. And yes, my writing now is far superior to how it was, a very long time ago. Movie sequels are almost always better than their originals. Like, I considered Shrek 2 to be a better movie than the original Shrek, and apparently some people said that movie sucked. Said the original Shrek and Shrek 2 sucked. I think that's BS. It was on some weird, because I've been looking at those, like in the taskbar now, Windows 10, if you put the cursor over it directs you to, it gives you links to, news and things like that, kind of like something Windows 98 would do. I guess that's another thing Windows 10 has in common with Windows 98. And then a lot of the time, you're like, oh, these are the best movies you forgot about, or these are movies that suck. It also said Home Alone 2 sucked, and it also said a lot of other movies that I know for being really good, like Shrek, like the Shrek movies, and Home Alone 2, and what else is on that list? It's not a long list. I actually said a lot of those movies suck, but I disagree. I don't think those movies suck. I think those things suck. Now I really need to stop watching those things. It's mostly all filled with. But then again, there's some things that I think suck that other people don't think suck. Like I think Lord of the Rings sucks. I think The Godfather sucks. I think a lot of those things suck. Does that mean they're actually bad? No, it's because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. I think Spyro the Dragon is one of the greatest games ever, and I know that's one of the greatest games ever, because most people I speak of this game to seem to agree that, yeah, it's a good game, it's a great classic, and most people seem to agree that Bubsy 3D is a bad game, but I have seen a few people say Bubsy 3D is actually a decent game that actually has the potential to be, somewhat good if it was more better polished. Then again, I don't think Bubsy 3D is one of the worst games ever. Surely there's a lot of way worse games than Bubsy 3D, like Action 52, the Batman and Robin video game for the PS1. Yeah, that's a bad Batman game. No one ever talks about the Batman and Robin video game for the PS1. I used to think there was a good Batman Forever game on the PS1. I remember playing it briefly a long time ago. It's like an arcade beat-em-up type game, something like the SNES and Genesis Batman Forever game. And oh boy, I was wrong. This game was garbage. The game is so fast and hectic, you can't even see where you are most of the time in the game. You completely blend in with all the enemies, so you have no idea who you're playing as a lot of the time, what you're actually trying to do. It was a garbage game. I don't know why I thought it was a good game. So Batman Forever doesn't have a good game then, in other words. Which I guess that's fair. A lot of bad movies don't have good video. Then again, even some of the best movies ever, some of the worst video games ever, like Back to the Future. Maybe it's better that way that Spyro doesn't have a movie or was not based on it. I don't think Spyro the Dragon ever would get a movie. And I think it's best it stays that way. I was told that the Twisted Metal video game that recently was announced got cancelled. So that means it remains true now. The only thing that can play every single Twisted Metal game ever is the fat PS3. It is a fat PS3. The fat PS3 plays PS1, PS2, and PS3 games. If I could have one PS3, I would have got a fat PS3. If I could have a choice, I would have chose a fat PS3. But I didn't get a choice because my father just went out and bought me a PS3 that was new, and he bought it in 2012. And I don't think you could still buy a fat PS3 new in 2012 anymore, so that's probably why I got a slim PS3, which was kind of undesirable. It's one of the things reasons why I don't play it as much anymore. I mentioned that earlier. I very seldom use my PS3 these days. But I did use it for playing Spyro once. In fact, I think that was a system I was using the first time I 100% completed the original Spyro the Dragon and proved that it's possible to 100% complete the game without backtracking. And now I mostly just play it on emulator, which I find a lot of games actually run better on emulators than they do on the PS3. But it's more the reason to not use a PS3 as much. And this PC of mine, it doesn't play PS2 games that well. You saw my latest Star Wars Battlefront 2 Let's Play. I played almost every battle in that game except the last one on my PC PCSX2 emulator, and it works. And so because I often say, yeah, my HP PC plays PS2 games better than my PS3 does. Same with my Samsung Galaxy A53 phone. So this is something I didn't really know about until much later, that you could actually, well, I knew you could go through more than one of those supercharges, so you could run really fast, but you actually have to combine them, you have to run. It's like a huge work of art, which almost sounds like something that would be in a Zelda game, almost. I remember Zelda, I think it was Majora's Mask and something like that. You have to roll down a ramp and then jump to another ramp and jump. It's very careful manipulation. It's like a craft almost. It's almost like you have to have almost like surgeon precision, like you have the arms of a surgeon to play this game. And I kind of said a similar thing last night when I was playing Ratchet and Clank, what it was called, Size Matters, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. I was playing the final boss of that game, and good God, that's one of the most challenging final bosses in any Ratchet and Clank game ever, simply because there's no margin of error. Make one wrong move and you're dead. I said the same thing about the Revenge of the Sith video game for the Game Boy Advance. You make one wrong move and you're dead. Health is pretty much redundant. The only kind of run you can make on the final bosses of those games is a perfect run, kind of like what Rome Mithril would do, where you would play through every classic Mega Man game and not take a single hit. I used to watch these videos a lot. At the same time, I'd be playing the Spyro game. I used to watch a lot of stuff about Mega Man, and I would watch these people that play through every Mega Man game without taking a single hit. It wasn't the whole game though, it was just the Robot Masters. It was still really impressive they could play through that entire game. He says, I've played Mega Man so many times, this is not a challenge anymore. That's how I feel about the original Twisted Metal now. I played the original Twisted Metal so many times, now it doesn't feel like a challenge anymore. That's why I play the game on hard mode now. And yeah, it's a bit more challenging on hard mode, but still, if I keep playing on hard mode, eventually this can become, I've mastered the game to a point where the game doesn't really feel like a game anymore. It feels just like something I have. It feels just like me testing on my muscle memory while I sleep or something like that. You ever get that sometimes? I play a game so many times and beat it so many times and become so good at it, it doesn't even feel like a video game anymore. I sometimes feel a way about Jumping Flash because I've played Jumping Flash countless billions of times. I've beaten that game more times than I've beaten any other game ever. But I still like Jumping Flash. I still think Jumping Flash is a really awesome game. probably just as good as Spyro a lot of the time, because it is like a really iconic classic game that no one really talks about anymore. It faded away to the sands of time, which is quite a shame. I did see someone trying to make a fourth one of it. I think I mentioned that before. Someone tried making a fourth Jumping Flash game. I hope they do well with that. I haven't heard any more about it since, but... So you rescued yet another Dragon Jed. Whether he was a Jedi or something, a Dragon Jedi maybe. His name is Jed. Jed the Dragon. That sounds like a funny name for... It actually does sound like a name. Like, I actually could imagine a dragon being named that Jed. Yeah, this is Jed here. Or Jed, something like that. And he does look, and he does sound like something. That also is a name that could fit a Jedi as well, too. Maybe he was a Jedi that was exiled. Maybe he was a Dragon Jedi that was exiled from Star Wars. So he came to the Dragon World where he could rest in peace, where he could rest and be safe from the Empire or something like that. I sometimes wonder if Spyro ever had any connections to Star Wars. Officially, no. It probably doesn't have any connections to Star Wars. I like to think it had connections with Star Wars. I like to think everything had connections with Star Wars in some way or another. And before you know it, everything that exists has connections with something in some way or another. Everything kind of has some sort of connection to it. Ratchet and Clank has a lot of Star Wars influence in it, and so there's Ape Escape. Ape Escape definitely has Star Wars influence in it. So we cleared out the treetops. There's still a few more things left in this level. There were some fees we took on in the treetops, you may notice, but they just gave us gems. And because, the fees of the eggs have all been apprehended now, and we have all the eggs in the game now. Captured all the eggs, all those dragon eggs that could be collected. There are these things that make the floor electrified there. And there's this temple thing. It looks like it was built in 3000 BC. Yes, I often say it because this pyramid thing. It looks like something that appeared in the one of the backgrounds of Busted, or it looked like Yavin 4. It also looks like that weird pyramid thing that was in the Amazonia 3000 BC level in Twisted Metal 4. Remember that weird level? That level was a pretty messed up level. Amazonia 3000 BC. Ooh, it's in 3000 BC. I wonder what could have happened in that year. Wonder what that year was like, 3000 BC. Like some weird pyramid thing or some weird I imagine they would have something. Spyro's world is a pretty messed up world if you look at it that way. There's all sorts of messed up designs and messed up creatures. But I think that's kind of the idea they were going for when they made this game. I think they wanted to make something that was all deranged and messed up, so it could be, because kids seem to like stuff like that. Kids love cartoony action and cartoony violence and slapstick humor, which there's definitely a lot of that in these Spyro games, especially the sequels as well, too, where enemies actually hit each other, and sometimes enemies kill each other, too, in some of the later Spyro games. I wonder if that's where Insomniac got that idea for Ratchet and Clank, because Ratchet and Clank has a lot of that, where enemies accidentally kill each other. I've seen other God games too, where enemies accidentally shoot and kill each other. There's actually an award you could win in Star Wars Battlefront for that. It's called Traitor. Yeah, I actually won an award for that, for being a traitor. Oh look, one of our guys went rogue and killed a few of his own men. So we won the Traitor bonus. One time I won that award in Star Wars Battlefront 1, along with every other possible award that could be won in that game. Yeah, imagine that, winning a battle in the original Star Wars Battlefront and having absolutely every award possible. Imagine what that would be like. Just scaling this pyramid now, just walking around this pyramid, scaling the pyramid pretty much, and then jumping off in my search for these last few gems in this home world. This home world's mostly complete. Pretty much cleaned out everything here. It's only like maybe one or two, or probably just a few more gems left. They're always hiding. I think gems are really good at hiding in this game, if I keep mentioning that. They really did a good job at hiding gems. They always hide them in places where you'll never find them. They're under your nose. Once you finally see them, you're like, oh, how could it look? There's one right there. It's a gold gem right there. It's like, how could I have them? How could I miss that? Gold gem. That actually sounds like an awesome combination. Everyone loves gold, and everyone loves gems. How could you go wrong with such a combination like that? So I don't think there's any more gems over there. I'm just looking. There's not any more gems there. And I think I know where the last few gems might be, but still has a lot of exploration. This is an exploration-heavy game, of course, so what else would you be doing in a game like this? There we go. There's a red gem. One lousy little red gem. I think I know where the last few gems are. They're probably hiding around. Oh yes, I think I know where they are now. They're hiding behind this portal, I think. Yes, they are. That's where they are. There's where those last few bloody little gems are hiding behind the portal. And yes, I got all the gems in this level. Yep, this level's 100% complete and the game's 69% complete overall. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.